Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Inna Pododimenko and I represent Khmelnytskyi National University, Ukraine. The topic of my research is Peculiarities of Bachelors of Computer Science Professional Training, Japanese and Ukrainian Experience. The course of globalization, reference points of information world space, rapid development of information communication technologies, intensification of computerization process in all industries have intensified the strengthening of attention to specialists in computer science professional training who not only own thorough theoretical knowledge and practical skills, but foremost able to form effective interpersonal relations, creatively and non-standard counter-problem solving, achieve set aims and results in constantly changeable production and social situations. The tendencies of professional training of specialists in the information technology industry in Ukraine justify the attempt to coordinate study and practical activity with European and international standards, in particular by the improvement of conceptual, legislative, socio-economic, institutional, organizational, pedagogical, and informative constituents. Taking into consideration all aforesaid, one of the ways to increase the efficiency of this specialist professional training is the search of new approaches with the orientation of the experience of highly developed countries, the analyzed context, the scientific interest in the achievements of Japan, the most educated country of the world that has considerable achievements in modernization and permanent improvement of higher education, powerful scientific base, high-tech ambitions, international authority in IT human resources training. The multifold research and objective study of the best pedagogical achievements of Japanese experience will assist the enrichment of scientific views of native scientists with new ideas concerning the set of conceptual principles, content transformation, improvement of forms, methods and techniques, scientifically methodical providing of the obvious agency, insufficient amount of research on the problem, and practical requirement in its solving have defined the aim of the research. The aim of the research is to characterize the peculiarities of Bachelors of Computer Science professional training in Japan and Ukraine, and define possibilities of the positive ideas of foreign experience implementation into the Ukrainian system of higher IT education. The new paradigm of professional education is called to form the ability of specialists to find a job and easily get along with professional duties. It is recognized that in modern market conditions, an IT specialist must possess such qualities as the following: skills of diagnostication, analysis of phenomena and processes, innovative activity and self-education, skills of teamwork, communication, decision-making, professional knowledge and skills of fundamental character that can become the basis for providing of professional mobility, enterprise skills, such as creative approach to work, initiative, foresight of risks in the acceptance of new decisions. Taking into consideration the all above mentioned, the primary purposes of professional education recognized by both on Japanese and Ukrainian state level on the modern stage are the following: providing of the youth with general and professional knowledge that will become the sufficient basis of continuous lifelong education, providing the older and working scientists with new knowledge and skills necessary for satisfaction of current productive needs. Analysis of model of Bachelors of Computer Science professional training has shown that leading universities of Japan, such as University of Tokyo, Kyoto University, Osaka University, Kyushu University, Tohoku University, Tokyo Institute of Technology, Keio University, Waseda University, the University of Aizu and others, are oriented on IT human resources training with high level of creative potential, competitive on the labor market, responsible specialists who combine thorough professional knowledge, innovative culture, knowledge and skills of production manager and organizer, skills of interprofessional communication. The research results of the system of higher education of Japan convince that the characteristic feature of Bachelors of Computer Science professional training is transference of accents from educational information transfer on development of personality through students' involvement into active creative activity in the field of interdisciplinary practice-oriented groups, mass participation in research and creative activity. The study of Japanese experience of Bachelors of Computer Science training has made possible to define main differences that positively distinguish Japanese model from Ukrainian one in particular. Absolute advantage of Japanese higher education in amounts of financing, material technical providing, the orientation of Japanese higher education system on formation of independently intellectual initiative, creative personality of IT engineer on the basis of individually oriented curriculum, unlike in higher education of Ukraine, where an accent is made on the systematic successive mastering of courses content in the curriculum. Flexible variants of courses study, mobile trajectories of education, possibility to choose chichi, unlike in Ukraine where actually there is no practice for the free independent choice of educational courses by student. Close collaboration of Japanese universities with industrial enterprises and companies, professional IT associations. Academic mobility and possibility to obtain double and joint degrees by continuous cooperation with foreign universities in Japan are systems organized at the state level and presented by great number of programs, while in Ukraine it remains spontaneous and individual phenomenon. Material and technical providing of Japanese universities allows actively implement interactive pedagogical technologies in the training process of specialists of different specialties, including Bachelors of Computer Science. Universities possess high-tech equipment of lecture halls, computer classes, specialized educational scientific experience, computer laboratories that can occupy sometimes the whole floors and even separate buildings. Prevailing in the structure of study work of Japanese students the real independent obtaining of profession, mutual responsibility for the quality of professional training of both Japanese students and teachers. Also, the important value for providing of quality training of competitive specialists is the accreditation of educational program by professional organization. Unfortunately for Ukraine, such accreditation of educational program by professional organization is an oft-time phenomenon. It should be noted that at Japanese universities, the career support sentences actively function that create favorable conditions for research and search for employment of students and graduates of students. This Japanese practice needs further comprehension and mastering by higher education pedagogical community of Ukraine. At the same time, the contradictory aspects of Bachelors of Computer Science professional training at Japanese universities are noted. In particular, the positive feature of Ukrainian educational program of Bachelors of Computer Science training, we consider the presence of the complex program of thorough practical training that includes the different types of practical training: educational, project technological, diploma, internship. It is realized during the whole term of study. Japanese curricula also include on-site field internship on the senior years of study. However, their amount is not considerable as Ukrainian ones. It can be explained by the fact that in Japan, the practice of on-the-job training of university graduates exists for a long time. Also, the tendency of refusal of such practice currently is observed because of the high cost for enterprise. The similar factor for both educational programs of Bachelors of Computer Science training in Japan and Ukraine is the orientation on training of a specialist of a wide profile oriented on the problem solving connected with analysis and synthesis of different systems on the basis of the newest information communication technologies with the application of modern achievements of fundamental and engineering sciences. The comparative analysis of Bachelors of Computer Science, Japanese and Ukrainian curricula has showed that there is a substantial difference in the content of training of Japanese and Ukrainian computer science specialists. For example, in Japan, such approaches are the standardization of professional training, the variability and flexible character of educational programs, the possibility of choice of the future specializations by students, the higher level of organization of independent students' work, the wide implementation and use of modern teaching techniques and innovative technologies, the creation of possibilities for professional development and self-realization by participation in the international exchange and internship programs. The main differences in Ukraine are the following. The constituency between qualification level of bachelor and world requirements, the training orientation on the formation of comprehensively developed IT specialists, the shortage of proper scientifically methodological, material technical providing and high-tech learning environment of the universities. The conducted analysis of the system of training of future bachelors of computer science and Japanese universities testifies the prevailing in educational processes, organization, the problem and project-oriented learning. It is necessary not only to form thorough theoretical knowledge in students, but also teach them to apply independently this knowledge for the solving of real practical problems. The complex of positive acquisitions of Japanese system of information technology specialist training is characterized by the experience of individual independent students' work organization. At the same time, characteristic for Japan, primacy of democracy and freedom of choice determines not only the scientific or theoretical classes. In this country, a teacher owns a right for optimal, according to his own opinion, programs and teaching techniques. It can be illustrated by the democratic character of educational material exposition, implementation into teaching practice, the case study method, and search of alternative solutions. All technology of Bachelor of Computer Science training is inferior to the leading objective, the thorough development of student's personality, exposure of his capabilities and talents, enriching of intellectual and creative potential. The professional formation of students in higher educational institutions depends upon the level of their cognitive qualities development, in particular such as persistence, motivation, emotional firmness. Enormous influence on the professional formation of students in higher educational institutions is carried out by their professional orientation, meaningfulness of educational tasks, and own activity. For effective training of modern IT human resources both in Japan and Ukraine, next to traditional technologies, in the new educational system, a large value has creation and implementation of leading education technologies, informative, computer, telecommunication technological innovations, application of which requires radical changes in the methods of and faculties of study, forms of educational process organization, zero in methodology of modern professional education. It makes the process of training of modern specialists in the industry of information communication technologies guided, individually differentiated, with a large part of independent educational and educational productive activity. Innovative educational technologies assist the development of individual abilities of personality, increase of level of thinking creativity, formation of skills, effective research of decisions of both educational and practical tasks, prognostication of results of made decisions, realization. With the additions of new strategy of modernization of conduct of higher education, the problem of competitiveness of specialists in accordance with the modern requirements of the labor market acquires a special significance. The study of the peculiarities of Bachelors of Computer Science professional training in the world context has allowed us to set that both in Japan and Ukraine students study identical courses: architecture and structure of computers, programming languages, organization of information systems, and so on. However, the basic concept in Ukrainian higher educational establishments is made on theoretical training of IT specialists, while the practically oriented approach prevails in Japanese ones. The professional training of Bachelors of Computer Science in Japanese educational space is based on the individual trajectory of study that makes possible the teaching of students in the optimal for them more independently regulated time of implementation of laboratory, workshop, computational graphic, and other tasks, independence in the choice of scientifically methodical literature for classes preparation, providing the possibility of individual correction pedagogical maintenance of independent students' work. The results of comparativistic research convince that Japan has more considerable and prominent achievements in professional training of Bachelors of Computer Science due to well-regulated higher education legislation and quality assurance system, clear structure to study organization on all levels, operative reacting of the system of higher education on the changes of the labor market, professional orientation for educational programs, flexibility of system connections, and close cooperation with employees and professional IT associations and societies. Powerful scientific-pedagogical potential of Ukrainian higher education in combination with the progressive ideas of Japanese experience will assist the upgrading of professional training of information technology specialists in Ukraine that requires further research. Thank you for your attention.